I'm going to today use a khutbah by Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, a sermon by Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam himself, that he replied to this question. And he replied from the parlance of the Quran, from the language of Quran. He used various verses of the Quran and various events in the lives of the apostles and prophets before the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself to justify why he did not rise up. So without any delay, let's go to the sermon. This is the book of Ilal al-Sharaya, published in Najaf al-Ashraf in 1963, written by As-Saduq rahimahullah. There is a chapter in the book of Ilal al-Sharaya titled Why Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam did not take up sword against those who usurped his position. And likewise, there's a chapter as such in the book of Ihtijaj. And these are all, in the book of Ihtijaj, those are all hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam himself. So, at page 148, the 7th hadith in that chapter, As-Saduq rahimahullah narrates this hadith that has been narrated in other books as well, such as book of Ihtijaj, with slight difference in wording. The hadith goes as follows. Hadith number 7. The hadith goes as follows, that there were a number of people in the masjid in Kufa during the reign of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam in Iraq who discussed this matter. Why Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam did not fight Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman the way he fought Talha and Zubair and Aisha and Muawiyah and Khawarij and Nahrawan. Why he didn't fight them off. Why he did not quell Abu Bakr and Umar's rebellion against Islam and their steal of Khilafah. So this was reported to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. When Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam heard that there were a number of Muslims in the masjid who discussed this issue, and they were wondering what was the reason. Why there's a dichotomy, why there is an inconsistency, seeming inconsistency between his conduct against Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and his conduct against Muawiyah and Talha and Zubair and the Khawarij of Nahrawan. Why Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam fights in one case and does not fight in the other case? What is the reason? So this was reported to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. When he heard this, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam summoned them for prayers, for a collective prayers and gathering. So they gathered. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam climbed over the pulpit and he said, such and such news has been reported to me that you have made such a discussion. They replied, yes, we did had such a discussion. That why you did not fight Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman the way you fought Aisha and Muawiyah and Khawarij. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam replied in the following way. Okay. Said, فَإِنَّ لِي بسنة الأنبياء أسوة وقال الله عز وجل في كتابه لقد كان لكم في رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أسوة حسنة. I have an uswa, I have a role model in the prophets before me. If you are Muslims and you believe in the noble Quran and you have faith, you have iman in the apostles before our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you have faith in our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Quran says that, all Muslims, there is a good role model for you in the seerah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So for me, there's a role model in the apostles. People gathered there, they asked, which apostles are you talking about, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? So the Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam goes one prophet by the other. And he replies as follows. Ibrahim alayhi salam إذ قال لقومي وأعتزلكم وما تدعون من دون الله. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said to his people, وأعتزلكم, I'm going to depart. This is a verse in the noble Quran. وأعتزلكم وما تدعون من Surah Al-Hijr, as I recall. Perhaps I should show you the verse. If the adhab befell his people, the punishment. And then there's also these verses in Surah Al-Hijr. وَجَاءَ أَهْلُ الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. The people of the town, they came rejoicing at the news of young man's arrival. Lut alayhi salam said, verily these are my guests, so shame me not. Shame me not, do not dishonor me, do not disgrace me, do not cause my dishonor in my own house. And fear Allah and disgrace me not. Surah Maryam. Surah وَأَعْتَزِلُكُمْ وَمَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam showed some very fascinating, perplexing miracles. He was thrown into fire and the fire did not burn him. You have heard that, the events. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, despite that people knew that these idols were fake, they were not gods, they did not listen to Ibrahim alayhi salam. And they knew Ibrahim alayhi salam was telling the truth, that he is indeed an apostle on the account of his miracles, on the account of his being truthful and honest. So they knew, and his message was rational and logical. But they did not accept him, and they not only did not accept his message, they showed their animosity. They always bothered Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. Not only bothered, but they did adiyah to Ibrahim alayhi salam. They really perturbed Ibrahim alayhi salam. They would throw stones, or they would call him names, or they would ridicule him. It's like they did to all apostles before our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam saw all this enmity from his nation and from the king of the time, and nobody is believing in him. Nobody is becoming Muslim. So the only person who believed in him was his cousin, Lut alayhi salam. So, in short, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, وَأَعْتَزِلُكُمْ وَمَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. I'm going to abandon you. My people, I'm departing from you. I'm leaving Iraq, the Babylon. I'm not going to live here anymore. So he left and he went to Palestine. He left to Syria. He went to another place. So the question is, why Ibrahim alayhi salam? Ibrahim was brave. Ibrahim was valiant. Ibrahim did not fear anyone but God. And Ibrahim was truthful in his message. And Namrud was everything opposite to Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was coward, and he was wrong. He was not the deity. Those idols were not gods. So why didn't Ibrahim alayhi salam fight them? That is the question. Why he did not fight them? Why he did not take up the sword and fight them, right? Likewise. So for whatever reason, Ibrahim alayhi salam did not fight his people. Why he did not fight them? Because nobody believed him. He didn't have any followers. He didn't have any soldiers. You fight them with what? You want to fight the king and all the people who disbelieve in you, who consider you a liar, who ridicule you. You will have to exterminate everybody. A great massacre. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam did not fight them for the obvious reason. So Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, if you say that Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam decided to depart that land, and it's not easy to depart one's homeland, where you've grown up, where you have lived all your life, and all your friends, all your relatives, everything you know is in that environment. You want to leave it. That's not easy. And Ibrahim alayhi salam is leaving that behind. Why? Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, if you Muslims tell me that he left and departed Iraq, not for any animosity from his people, not because of very, very antagonistic and very negative behavior from all the people around him, rather they were very friendly for him, then you have lied. No, you've lied. That's a lie. That's not true. But if you believe that Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, despite animosity from his people, he did not fight them. Rather, he accepted that waging a war, that is not the prudent thing to do. That is not the rational option to take. So he took another option. He left that area. If you agree with me that was Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam's course, so if Ibrahim alayhi salam as a prophet, that was his reason, and you agree with him, then me as an heir of apostles, and that is the same argument as mine, and you cannot disagree with me. Okay. And then he said, وَلِي بِابْنِ خَالَتِهِ لُوطٌ أُسْوَى إِذْ قَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً أَوْ آوِي إِلَى رُكْنٍ شَدِيدٍ فإن قلتم إن لوطا عليه السلام كانت له بهم قوة فقد كفرتم وإن قلتم لم يكن له قوة فالوصي أعذر. And there's an example for me in Lot. He was a prophet. He's an apostle. He's infallible. He is indeed dispatched by Allah with a message to his people. And what did he say to his nation? He said, لو أن لي بكم قوة أو آوي إلى ركن شديد. I wish, it is my desire, I pray that if I had power, that if I had the might, if I had the force to fight you, or if I may take refuge in a fortress that's well protected. So he confessed to his people that he is weak and he is broken and he is defeated, and why he didn't fight them off. So what is the story of Lot? What is the story of Lot? He does not fight. And when did he say these words? That was when, let's go to the verse of the Noble Quran. I'm going to read to you the verse of the Noble Quran. It's quite an argument that each one of you Shia can make against any person who proclaims Iman in Quran and he proclaims to be a Muslim, and yet asks this question, that why didn't Amir al-Mu'mineen fight Abu Bakr and Umar when his position of Imam was usurped and when his house was attacked? So the story of Lot is a story of a prophet and apostle whose house is attacked by a people who are very dishonorable, people who are very, 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 very shameless and very criminal. Lot alayhi salam was a farmer. So he sees one evening, one late afternoon, he sees a group of men who are not from his town, who are rather alien to his place. They look like they're travelers. They are coming closer to his town, to his village. And Lot alayhi salam, when he sees them, that these group of travelers are coming, and they're good-looking men, and they are very handsome, and they are very, very mu'min. They are very faithful. They are pious. He could see from their faces that these are Muslim, and these are very pious individuals who are coming to his town. He became very upset. Why? Why would you become upset? You should become happy, right? If you have visitors from out of town and you are the only person in that town who's a Muslim, and you have visitors who seem to be very, very pious and good looking and very, very, very God-fearing, then you should be happy. But Lot alayhi salam became very upset. He became very, very grievous. Why? Because the people of his nation, the people of his town, the people in his city, they were criminals. They were sodomizers. What they did to any person who passed through the town, if they were males, they would rape that male. They would rape men. They were not interested in women. They were sodomites who would rape men and who would take away their belongings, who would basically loot them. So for that reason, Lut alayhi salam became very upset. So he went and faced those travelers and said, "Stop, please. Don't come to my city. Don't come to this town, because this is a nation who are criminals. They are rapists." The traveler said, "No, it's very late. We have to stay here. We don't have any place to go. Please take us to your house. Please take us to your guest." As we guess, Lot pleaded again that, "Please do not come to this town. I will not be able to protect you. My nation is a criminal nation. They are interested, and they will be interested. They will for sure try to rape you and sodomize you and then take away your belongings." They wouldn't listen. The travelers wouldn't listen, and they would say, "No, you have to take us in." And these travelers were angels. They were Jibreel alayhi salam, Mikael, and some other angels, very, very prominent and very awesome angels of God. And they had come to this nation to destroy them, to punish them by the command of Allah. But Lot alayhi salam did not know yet that they were angels. So Lot alayhi salatu wasalam, when they insisted, he was forced to take him to his house. He takes them into his house, and his wife was a bad person. She did not believe in Lot alayhi salam, and she was following the path of the people of the town. And Lut alayhi salam pleaded with her that, "I'm going to forgive you for all the bad things, for all the misdeeds that you have done, you have committed to me. And if the Nabi forgives you, Allah forgives you too. So I will forgive you and I'll pray for you if you listen to me. do not inform anyone that we have guests tonight. Do not inform your relatives, my neighbors, that we have guests tonight. She said, okay, I'll listen to that. I won't inform anyone. So the guests come into the house. But the woman, she's mischievous. She doesn't listen to Lot. She goes over the roof and she starts a fire as a symbol that there are people here in the house. And the people of the town, as soon as they realize that there are guests over at this old man's house who claims to be a prophet, this priest, this holy man's house, their guests. So they came from every corner. They start pouring in from every house. Why? Because they came with joy. They came with jubilation that they will have a good time tonight. They will have a night of rape and drinking and enjoyment till the morning, and they will be raping these fellows who are at Lut's house. So they came to Lut's house, and Lut alayhi salatu wassalam encountered them and said, don't do this. Don't do this. This is my house. In his house, Lut alayhi salam did not have any sons. He had only 2 daughters who believed in him, who were mu'min, and that was it. In his nation, nobody else believed in him. Nobody else had faith in God or Lut alayhi salam or in religion in his nation, except his 2 daughters. Even his wife was devious. So Lut alayhi salam said that do not dishonor me. At least I'm an old man from you, from your relatives, from your town. You've known me all your life. I've never done you wrong. Do not dishonor me in front of my guests, in front of my daughters, in my house. Don't do this. There, you have wives, you are married. Go to your wives. Go to your wives. If you're so much pressed for your sexual desire, your sexual tensions, your wives, go and sleep with your wives and have intercourse with your wives. Why you want interested in raping men? They've said, they started ridiculing Lot alayhi salam. What is this old man talking about? Doesn't he know it's haram? Women are haram for us. Women are forbidden for us. So they were ridiculing him, that you are saying that we should go to our wives, but you know we are pious, we are so pious. Women are haram, forbidden. Men are good for us. We have to rape these men. We have to. Lot alayhi salam pleaded with them, and then they got mad at Lot. And they said, didn't we tell you you're not allowed to have any guests? Didn't we tell you, old man, holy man, you claim to be holy man? You're crazy. We had told you, we had made it quite clear to you that you are not allowed to talk to any stranger. If there are strangers in town, they should come to us. We run this city, not you. You are not allowed to bring any guests in. At that point, Lut alayhi salam said, لو أن لي بكم قوة, I wish I had the power. I wish I had the force to fight you. أو آوي إلى ركن شديد, or I may go and take refuge into a very, very fortified palace, a castle, a fortress. So Lut alayhi salatu wassalam admitted that he doesn't have any options. It's him, his 2 daughters, and this well-armed posse, these criminals, these gangsters who have surrounded his house, and they want to break in, and they want to come in to do what? To keep raping again his guests in front of his daughters and in front of him. And there's nothing, even if he fights them, he will not be able to stop the rapes. They will rape them anyways. So, and then they broke into the house. They came inside the house. But that was Jibreel alayhi salam. They didn't know. The nation did not know this was Jibreel alayhi salam. So Jibreel alayhi salam and the angels say to Lot, don't worry. We got this handled. We will handle this. So we are here. We are angels of your Lord. We have come here to punish these people. We have come here to destroy these people. Lot alayhi salam became so happy. He said, please, right now, immediately destroy them now. The angel said, no, this is not the time, in the morning. The Lord has commanded us in the morning. The morning is not very far. It's the beginning of the night. It's just the evening. And in the morning, we will destroy them. So Jibreel alayhi salatu wassalam, he, with this holy wing, alayhi salam, he slapped them, and he hit them. And all these people who had broken into his house and they were surrounding his house, they all lost their sight. They became blind. They became blind. They became blind. All these people who had gathered with jubilation, with excitement, that we are going to go into Lut's house and we are going to have a night of partying, drinking, and raping. All of them, they became blind. And they realized that they have committed a grave error. And there was one person who was knowledgeable amongst them. And he said that this is the time that Lot was talking about. He had promised us that a punishment from the Lord, from the Creator, was about to befall them. He said that this is the moment, this is the time that he was talking about previously. Now is the time that's going to happen, that punishment is coming. He said, do not let Lot leave. Do not let Lut alayhi salam leave this town. Because if he leaves, as long as he's here, there will be no punishment. But if he leaves, punishment will come for sure. Divine punishment will come. Destruction will come. So they surrounded his house and they wouldn't let him leave. The angels told Lut alayhi salam to leave. Go with your daughter, with your daughters, and with you, and take your family with you. Go. But your wife, she is not going to survive. She will be punished. She will be destroyed in the punishment. Lut alayhi salam said, how could I leave? Look, they have surrounded around the house. So Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam created a column of light. That's in the hadith, column of light. So he said, follow this column and don't look left or right. Don't turn around and leave. And they will not see you. And that's what happened. Lut alayhi salam left and that column of light, and no, they did not see him. His wife turned around and she was destroyed. And in the morning, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam and the angels, they destroyed that town. Everybody was destroyed. So Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says that is the story of Lot alayhi salam. His house was attacked. His house was attacked. And the people who attacked his house were so criminal, so shameless. The words cannot describe the loneliness, the helplessness of Lot alayhi salam. That an old man in front of his daughters, and there's a nation around his house, surrounding his house, a posse of criminals who have gathered there to rape and sodomize his guests, and then steal whatever belongings they had with them, and then party and drink in his house in front of him and his daughters. So Lut alayhi salatu wasalam did not fight them. And he confessed, and per the verses of the Noble Quran, that I'm unable to fight them. Let's have a look at the verse of the Noble Quran. This is Quran, translated by Dr. Muhammad Taqiyuddin al-Hilali and Dr. Muhsin Khan, published in Al-Madinah al-Munawwarah. Let's have a look at these verses. Surah Al-Hud, verse number 77. وَلَمَّا جَاءَتْ رُسُلُنَا لُوطًا سِيءَ بِهِمْ وَضَاقَ زَرْعًا. Just one moment, please. Let me change the font in my pen. The font color. He was grieved on account of them and felt himself strained for them, lest the town people should approach them to commit sodomy with them. He said, this is a distressful day. هَذَا يَوْمٌ عَصِيب. This is a difficult day. This is a horrible, miserable day. When he saw these guests approaching his town, right? وَجَاءَ قَوْمُهُ يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. And his people came rushing towards him. They came with jubilation, excitement, when they saw the fire on the house. The woman, she made a signal. Lut alayhi salam's wife, she made a signal by lighting fire on the house, on the roof, to invite those people that there's something going on in this house. So they realized they are strangers. They're outsiders in this house staying overnight. So they came, yuhra'una, they came running. They came with great excitement, rushing towards him. And since aforetime they used to commit crimes, sodomy. So there were people who were criminals. They're sodomizers. All of them, they were not interested in women. They were married, but they wouldn't touch their wives. ومن قبل كانوا يعملون السيئات قال يا قوم هؤلاء بناتي هن أطهر لكم. Lut alayhi salam said to them, "O my people, here are my daughters, the women of my nation. You are married. You are married. God damn it. You all are married. Go to your wives. You want to have a good time. Go to your wives. Go to your families. They are purer for you. فاتقوا الله ولا تخزوني في ضيفي. So fear God and do not disgrace me. With regard to my guests, do not disgrace me. Do not dishonor me. Do not cause my dishonor in front of my guests, in my own house, in front of my daughters. Don't do that. أليس منكم رجل رشيد? Is there not among you a single right-minded man, a single gentleman? There's not one gentleman amongst you. There's not one righteous person amongst you. There's not one honorable man amongst you. You, my town, everybody. Okay. قالوا لقد علمت ما لنا في بناتك من حق وإنك لا تعلم ما نريد. They said, surely you know that we have neither any desire nor need for your daughters. ما لنا في بناتك من حق. We have no right in our wives. We have no right in our own wives. Our wives are haram for us. We have to do some other thing. We have to commit sodomy. And indeed, you know well what we want. You know well what we want. You know well. We want to rape your guests. He said, what that I wish. What that means, I wish. I wish I had strength to overpower you. I had strength, I had men, I had soldiers, I had followers, I had helpers to overpower you. Or that I could betake myself to some powerful support to resist you. Okay? So Lut alayhi salam said his words. And then he was grieved on account of them. And when our messengers came to Lot, he was grievous. Why was grievous, right? Why was he grievous? He was grievous because he knew his nation they would want to rape them. The people of the city said, did we not forbid you from entertaining or protecting any people of a stranger from us? Didn't we tell you you're not allowed to? Didn't we tell you before you're not allowed to talk to anybody? Talk to strangers or bring them to your house? We told you that. What's wrong with you? You're crazy. You want us to break your mouth? You want us to break your bones? You want to resist us? We told you. We warned you. You are not allowed to bring as guests any strangers. Strangers come to our houses so we could rape them. So that was the story of Lot alayhi salatu wasalam in his conversation. So Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said to the people in the masjid, Lut alayhi salam is an example for me. When he said to his people, لو أن لي بكم قوة وآوي إلى ركن شديد. When he said, I wish I had men to overpower you, or that I may take refuge into a fortress in a very strong place. If you say that Lut alayhi salatu wasalam had power, he had power, he did not fight them. If you suggest that Lut alayhi salam was able to take up the sword and kill them and wage war against his own people, then you're lying and you're talking against the Quran, and that's kufr. But if you agree, when قلتم لم يكن له قوة فالوسيع أعذر, if you agree with me that Lut alayhi salatu wasalam did not fight them because he didn't have the capacity, he did not have the capability, he did not have the strength, he did not have the supporters, he did not have the soldiers, he did not have the fighters to wage a war, and that's why he did not wage a war. If you say that was his excuse, so consider that the same as my excuse. That's my excuse. That's my excuse. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says in a khutbah in Nahj al-Balagha, and this khutbah has been narrated in Nahj al-Balagha in other books as well. It's called the khutbah shaqshaqiyya. The khutbah shaqshaqiyya. And shaqshaqa is the excitement of a camel. A camel, when he gets excited, there's foam that comes into his mouth. That's Shaqshaqiyya. And then when that excitement goes, it goes away. That's the name. But I'm not here to recite to you the entire khutbah of Shaqshaqiyya. But this khutbah of Shaqshaqiyya has been narrated in many of our books. And I will show you a few sentences, a few lines from الخطبة الشقشقية. معاني الأخبار لشيخنا الصدوق رحمه الله, published by Darul Ma'rifah, published in 1979 in Beirut, Lebanon. This is page number 360. This is khutbah al-Shaqshaqiyya here. And he narrates this with two sanads, chains of narration. And this is also Nahjul Balagha, but I decide to, for various reasons, because there's Nahjul Balagha does not have a sanad, there's a sanad here. So I present this to you from معاني الأخبار. ولقد تقمص أخو تيم وإنه ليعلم أن محلي منها محل القطب من الرحى ينحدر عنه السيل ولا يرتقي إليه الطير فسدلت دونها ثوبا وطويت عنها كشحا وتفقت أرتعي ما بين أن أصول بيد جظاء أو أصبر على تخية عمياء. Wallahi, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, I take an oath by Allah that Akhu Team, that person from the tribe of Team, the tribe of Team is Abu Bakr's tribe. Aisha's tribe is the tribe of Team. That person from the tribe of Team, he took away Khilafah. He stole Khilafah from me. And he knew, Abu Bakr knew, himself knew, that that is my rightful claim. That is my position. And he knew what is my position in Islam. ينحدر عني السيل ولا يرتقى إليه الطير. I'm that high mountain. I'm that high mountain that water flows off of it. Water down flows from it. And high flying birds do not reach its peak. This is isti'ara. These are similes of extremely and highly eloquent words, and they're very difficult to translate. I am that high mountain, I am that peak from which down flows water. And from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam comes the grace of guidance, the grace of wisdom, path of piety. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, from him flows off. And the high flying birds of your minds and your reason cannot fathom my status, my position, my excellence. I cannot be imagined how high my position is. So down flows from me rivers of water. That mountain from which down flows rivers of water. ولا يرتقي إليه الطير. And birds do not ascend to its peak. Birds do not ascend to its peak. Reason and mind and your knowledge cannot fathom my position, and I'm beyond your understanding. فسدلت دونها ثوبا وطويت عنها كشحا. When I saw that he usurped this, فسدلت دونها ثوبا, between me and Khilaf. This is an expression which means that I looked away. وطويت عنها كشحا. This is also another. I turned away. I turned my side away. وطويت عنها كشحا. They stole my Khilafah and they knew my position. And my position is very high that you cannot fathom. When they stole my Khilafah, I ignored it. I overlooked it. I did not persist on taking it back. Why? طفقت أرتئي بين أن أصول بيد جظاء أو أصبر على تخية إما. I began thinking. I began assessing. I began an appraising that I have two options here. One option is an أصول بيد جظاء. Yad means hands, forearms. Yad means hands. That I should jump into foray, that I should initiate a war, I should attack, I should wage war with cut off hands. with hands and forearms that are cut off. Hands, if your hands are cut off, you cannot fight, can you? So these are similes, that because a leader who doesn't have followers, a leader who does not have supporters, he is a leader whose arms are cut off. His arms are cut off, chopped off, right? So فَطَفِقْتُ أَرْتَئِي, and I began assessing that I have two options. One option is to fight, to wage war with cut off arms, because he's a general, he is the Imam, he is the leader. And people have turned their backs to him, all cowards, bastards. So because soldiers for a general, supporters for a leader, followers for a leader, they are like hands for him, like hands for him. And if a leader doesn't have followers, if a general doesn't have soldiers, you could say his hands are cut off in a figurative way. So one option was that I fight them, that I jump into foray, بيد جزاء, with cut off hands, أو أصبر على تخية أمياء. And the other option is to wait, to be patient. تخية أمياء, be patient in a darkness that's blind, a darkness that's so blind. So تخية means clouds, dark clouds. Amya means so dark, blind, you cannot see anything. So if it's a night and dark, and they're full cloud, you can't see anything. So that's Khilafah of Abu Bakr and Umar before Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. That such darkness has taken over Muslim lands that I have to be patient in this darkness of misguidance, of ignorance, of all the heresies being perpetuated. I have two options. وَطَفِقْتُ أَرْتَئِي, I began assessing that I have two options. One option is to fight with cut off hands, and the other option is to be patient, to be patient, to keep patient in a darkness that is so dark that you cannot see anything, total dark. يَشِيبُ فِيهَا الصَّغِيرُ, so dark, such tormenting darkness that a child would age quickly in that darkness, that it would cause a child to become an old man. وَيَحْرَمُ فِيهَا الْكَبِيرُ, and an adult would become decrepit, an adult would become feeble because of old age. So much torment, so much pain in that darkness, that an old man would become decrepit and feeble and weak. وَيَقْدَحُ فِيهَا مُؤْمِنٌ حَتَّى يَلْقَى اللَّهَ رَبَّهُ, and a mu'min in that dark age would be in constant torment, in constant torture, until he dies. Two options: fight with cut off hands, and when you fight with cut off hands, your destruction is certain, and you cannot overpower your enemy. And the other option is to be patient. But patient in what? Patient in undescribable torments and abuse and heresy and blasphemy and transgression. فرأيت أن الصبر على هذا أحجى. I realized, I determined that being patient is the more prudent manner. Ahja means more rational. I realized that being patient is the more rational path, more logical path, more prudent path. فصبرت وفي العين قضى وفي الحلق شجا أرى تراثي نهبا. So I remained patient while I was such torment that in my eyes there were thorns in my eyes. قضى means dirt or sand or filth that goes into your eyes. So if you have had eye pain, that you would know eye pain is the worst pain. Eye pain is like child labor. A doctor told me that there are two pains that are the worst in the world. One is child labor, when a woman is giving birth to an infant. And the other, that's worse than any other pain, toothache or anything worse than that, is eye pain. فَصَبَرْتُ. So I remained patient, while in my eyes there were thorns. وَفِي الْحَلْقِ شَجَى. And in my throat, there was a bone stuck in my throat. أَرَى تُرَاثِي نَحَبًا. I was seeing my heirlooms. What was bequeathed to me by my brother Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All has been looted. Islam has been looted. Sharia has been looted. Mimbar has been looted. Quran has been looted. Position of Imam has been looted. Salah has been looted. Saum has been looted. Fast of Ramadan. Everything has been looted. I saw everything has been violated and looted. But they had no choice to do something. They spread a curtain.